So I went back in December, back to my doctor. He called me back in and said, "Hey, so I was reviewing your labs and it looks like you're pre-diabetic." Whoa, talk about getting smacked in the face.
Tyler, how did you find Carnivore?
It's really interesting. My mom started Carnivore 4 years ago, and I thought she was a crazy person. I was a doubter. I said, I need my vegetables. I need my fruits. This doesn't make any sense to me. I was brought up on the food pyramid in school, where the bottom you have all your grains and all that, and then proteins or whatever order it went in. That was ingrained into my skull. And that was, how could you just eat meat, eggs, cheese, and butter? And I was always a doubter, but she just stuck with it the whole time. Every once in a while, she'd chime in on a conversation and say, "Man, I feel great. Look at this ribeye that I'm eating," or "I made this giant brisket for Thanksgiving," and she says, "Look at my skin is getting clearer." And I was like, "There's no way." And every time I went to see her, we'd go to our favorite restaurant for pho, and I would get everything with all the fixins and the summer rolls with the lettuce and all that. And she would just get a bowl of beef broth with beef inside of it, no veggies or nothing, and she was perfectly happy. And she didn't hate me for not wanting to do it, but she kept kind of staying nagging in my ear about the benefits of the carnivore diet. And honestly, it fell on deaf ears like most of the time. And over the past, couple of years, I've kind of had a rough go at it. I broke my hip back in 2021 at a very young age. I had to get my hip replaced, went through a lot of physical therapy. It didn't do very well for my mental health going through all that. Pair that with the lockdowns and being stuck in a house and trying to do recovery. And I started putting on a lot of weight. I mean, in 2016, I weighed 180 pounds. 10 days ago, I weighed almost 280 pounds. I was at the point in my life where I was feeling the mental effects of just being tired and exhausted and just not really happy with where I was with myself. I hated the way I looked in the mirror. Things were stressing me out at work a lot. And so I went to the doctor as kind of a cry for help and said, "Hey, what doc, I need, this weight is really bringing me down. I think that's what's doing it." And he surprisingly looked at me dead in the eye and said, "Well, I think you need to reduce your carb intake." And this was a couple months ago. And I said, "Okay, you're going to tell me that before the holidays? Psh, I'm not going to listen to you." Because I wanted to enjoy myself over the holidays. I was still too stubborn to think about it. Another aspect of it is I've tried other diets in the past. I've tried, the balanced diet. I've tried counting macros, and it just drives me insane trying to count macros and how many carbs and sugars and fats and proteins and looking at every single label. And I just give up. It was just overwhelming when you try to pile that on top of everything else I had going on in my life. So I went back in December, back to my doctor. He called me back in and said, "Hey, so I was reviewing your labs and it looks like you're pre-diabetic." Whoa, talk about getting smacked in the face. You're actually putting a real condition, a real life-threatening condition onto my woes and onto my problem that I've put myself in. And that really reset me. And I said, "Well, how about like, okay, can I do like semaglutides?" Those are really popular nowadays. I have family members that are on semaglutides. They swear by it. I have friends that swear by semaglutides. And he said, "That's an option." He says, "But I have a question." And he paused and I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "Have you ever heard of the carnivore diet?" And I immediately snapped back to all the conversations I've had with my mom about the carnivore diet. And I said, "Yeah, my mom's been doing it for 4 years, but I just don't know." And he says, "I think it works. I think the carnivore diet is a good thing. There's a lot of research out there. There's a lot of testimony. There's a lot of experiences of people that are in your situation or were in your situation that committed to the carnivore diet and saw great success." He says, "You know what? you should try it. And I said, okay, I think I need some coaching to go with this whole carnivore diet thing. And he said, well, I mean, I don't need to send you to a nutritionist because they're not going to talk to you about the carnivore diet anyway. They're going to talk to you about all this other stuff. He says, why don't you just call your mom? She seems to know what she's talking about. So I said, okay. And I walked out of that doctor's appointment, picked up the phone, called my mom. And 10 minutes later, I was on the carnivore diet. Grabbed my wife from home. We went straight to the grocery store and loaded up the cart with steaks and picanha and bacon and Kerrygold butter and all the goodies. And that was, I think, on the 30th or 31st of December, 30th of December last 2024. That's where I got started, and I've been on it ever since. And I mean, I'm already seeing results, and I don't feel like I'm burdened at all, like I was with previous diets.
Wow. And wow, so that's been like 9 or 10 days.
Yep, just 10 days, and I've lost
Ah,
8.8 pounds on my first week. So, I mean, my clothes are already fitting better, and that's one of my goals. I put on a hoodie that I love that didn't fit me at Christmas, and it fit me yesterday.
oh wow, nice. Have you noticed anything else, like anything in terms of better sleep or anything?
Oh, absolutely. I could start listing things off. I've been going to bed earlier, which is good. I'm getting plenty more rest. I'm waking up earlier, which makes me feel more ready and productive and ready to attack the day. My acid reflux is gone. I was prescribed prescription acid reflux pills. I haven't taken one in probably 5 days. So that's completely gone. I've got mental clarity that I forgot existed. I feel like I'm back in high school, 16, 17 years old with that mental clarity of not having this brain fog in front of me and trying to focus on one thing at a time or zoning out of conversations that I'm having with people or having to make checklists all the time to try to keep track of what's going on. I just feel like I'm super able to focus on things. And most of all is I just have a ton of energy. I mean, at the beginning, the energy was a little misplaced. It seemed to be showing up in the middle of the night, between like 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., which was really inconvenient. But I managed to adjust my sleep schedule just a little bit to be able to compensate for that. And now I'm getting great sleep at night, tons of energy during the day. And really, I've learned holistically how to listen to my body. And that was a very quick lesson to learn. And that's just, I've learned that my body's going to tell me what it needs. It's going to tell me when it's hungry. It's going to tell me when it's thirsty. It's going to tell me when it needs electrolytes. It's going to tell me when I'm tired, and it's going to tell me when I'm full. If I listen to those 5 or 6 things, I'm done. It's easy. There's not any more to it. The only thing I look for on a label now is how many carbs. And if it's anything more than zero, I put it back on the shelf. So, I mean, my life changes have already kicked in, and I'm just looking forward to, what's next. What's the next great thing that I'm going to discover is corrected by just eating better.
Right. Have you had any feedback from your mum yet? Has she been
Oh,
like, "I told you this 4 years ago"?
oh yeah. Well, her big thing is she's not a big "I told you so." She's not a man kind of neener type. She says, "I just thank God that you're saving your life because I want you around longer and your family wants you around longer, and you have a lot of success ahead of you, and I'm really glad that your doctor is a good doctor and just talks some sense into you." And she's been supportive. I've been documenting my whole thing on TikTok every day. I said I want to do this. I found inspiration from creators, and I wanted to give back, and I wanted to show them that what they're doing is inspiring people like me. And she comments on every single one of them. She texts me all the time. Now every day we're sending pictures of our meals to each other and what we're eating and these carnivore recipes that we're finding, and it's kind of opened a whole new conversation for us that we weren't having before. And I really think not only is it better for my health and our health, it's better for our relationship. that was good in the first place, but it's improving every day.
Yeah. Um, so I don't I can't quite get my head around the doctor. Like the doctor is worth his weight in gold, you know? That like that's so unusual for a doctor to say, you know, maybe this would be better for your health rather than just say, here's a prescription for something.
Right, and that's wild because he's a new doctor for me. My previous doctor changed practices and moved out of the area, so this is my new doctor that I've been assigned to, and I was really blown away by it too. That I was so used to just being told, all right, well, I'm going to give you a prescription for this, and here you can go pick it up, and then I'll give you 3 refills, and I'll give you a prescription for this, and then we'll refill it if you need it. Make an appointment with the nurse on the way out, and we'll see if we need to up the dosage in 3 months. That's what I'm so used to, just a pill mill, just shoving pills down. I was taking 6 pills every morning at one point. Now the only thing I'm really taking now is an allergy pill, just because of the seasonal allergies. And but for him to say, yeah, maybe we avoid medicines, maybe we kind of take you off these or avoid doing this, and just see if this works. So you said try the carnivore diet, give it 3 months, and if it's not working for you after 3 months, then we'll explore medicine related approaches. I can tell you, in that 3 months, he's not going to have to give me any medicine.
Right. Were you taking something for the acid reflux before?
Yeah, I was just taking prescription, like basically Pepsid. I don't remember
Right.
what the actual brand is, but yep, just taking Pepsid AC like every day. I have a history of really bad heartburn, to the point where I was eating Tums like they were candy because my heartburn was so bad, and it was just killer to the point where I got kidney stones from the calcium in the Tums. And that was debilitatingly painful to the point where I was driving to work. I had to pull over in a parking lot of a fast food place and call an ambulance to take me to the hospital because I felt like I was about to go unconscious from the pain. And that's how bad it was 5 years ago. And it was always bad. And I'd have terrible episodes, terrible sleep. I couldn't eat anything spicy after 6 p.m. It was just a terrible way to live. And I was taking those pills and they were working. But now I don't even need to take them. Like I said, it's been 5 days since I've taken the pill, and I haven't experienced a single iota of acid reflux at all.
Right, nice. When you first started going carnivore, did you experience any side effects? Like, did you have any keto flu or anything?
Yeah, so I did. I think I had a touch of the keto flu. I spent about 30 hours with a kind of really nagging headache, that just seemed to radiate from the crown of my skull down. And that was killer. It kind of hurt to pick my head up. I couldn't watch TV or look at any bright lights, and I avoided taking Excedrin or Aleve or whatever. I didn't want to take medicine, right? Because my doctor's approach to these things were, let's try fixing things the right way. So I did what my doctor recommended. I called my coach. Hey, mom, what do I do about this stupid nagging headache that I have? And she says, go to the store and get some electrolytes. Just get the powder, like the Gatorade Zero Carb, whatever. Just get that, put it into water, and drink 1 or 2 of them today, and then wait a few hours. And she says, in the meantime, I'll send you my favorite ones. And she sent me a little care package from Amazon with electrolytes, and that fixed it. Yes. So if that was it, I mean, other than some irritable bowel stuff that's been going on, which I guess is normal with your body just detoxing, my doctor also approached that. He said, hey, you're going to get diarrhea. Well, he says, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to get diarrhea or you're going to get constipated. And I said, well, can I take Imodium or something? He says, I wouldn't. He says, just let your body detox. Don't take the pills. Don't try to stop your body from correcting itself. Just give it time. He says, if it goes on for 2 weeks, or it comes to the point where you're so severely dehydrated that you can't keep up with water, he says, go to the emergency room. But he says that he's rarely ever seen that happen. So I took the electrolytes and I was fine. I mean, if I can continue a little bit, last year at this exact same time, I was challenged to do 75 hard by a friend. And in my previous diets, like I said before, aside from counting macros, I have a tendency personally to go hard, as we say, hard into the paint, right? Just like go full steam ahead, 1,000%, all my energy into a diet or into a hobby or into whatever. Damn the results. I'm going to force it through. You know what I mean? And I did 75 hard. I got the logbook behind me on the shelf somewhere. I think I made it like 13 days of doing 75 hard. And on the 14th day, I woke up and I felt like a death. And I think I had also entered not only like a keto flu, but just pure, unadulterated fatigue, muscle fatigue, mental fatigue, just tired, exhausted, felt sick, and terrible. And I quit. That took me out of the game for 75 hard. So I've experienced that in the past. And I was kind of expecting the same thing to happen with carnivore, but I told myself I wasn't going to give up this time. Well, it wasn't as bad because I've been taking this in a more self-aware approach to the carnivore diet, where I want it to be more than just the food that's on my plate. I want it to be self-realization of my tendencies and my habits and kind of recognizing why I've failed in past years so I can avoid repeating those same things. And, definition of insanity, right? You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I wanted this to be more than a diet. I wanted it to be a lifestyle. And for that to happen, I had to get over the keto flu, no matter how bad it was. Luckily, I was blessed, and the keto flu maybe lasted 30 hours, and the irritable bowel still comes and goes. Like I said, I'm only on day 9 or 10, but it's nothing I can't manage.
Nice. So, what does your menu look like day to day?
So I've been trying to diversify. I'm not doing hardcore carnivore where it's just, beef, salt, and water. I'm not. I come from a family that loves to cook. My dad is a fantastic cook, and he taught me how to cook. And I've had the privilege of traveling the world. I've taken cooking classes in Thailand. I've had cuisines from every continent except for I think South America is the only one I haven't visited. Food is a huge part of my life, and cooking was therapy for me, for a lot of stress relief. I also liked cooking something good for somebody. It was my love language, as they say, cooking a good meal for somebody, and then especially being able to sit down and enjoy it with them. So one of the big hurdles I had to overcome so far, and I'm still kind of overcoming it, is how can I still get that same kind of therapy from my love for food and my love for cooking? So I've been adapting a menu, but it's been a variety. Like I said, we started off with some nice ribeyes from the store. I cooked them on the grill. I got some 80/20 really nice kind of American Wagyu ground beef. I made sliders. I live 5 minutes from a world-class seafood market, so I went and got some fresh Atlantic salmon and made a fillet for myself for dinner, and then made all these little salmon bites, with a little bit of paprika and onion powder and garlic powder on them, and fried them in butter, and just had them in the fridge for a snack. Let's see what else I've got. I got a picanha, the tri-tip top or whatever that I've got. I'm going to put that on the grill this weekend. Do a nice reverse sear on it. So my menu is diverse, and I'm getting a lot of inspiration from people on social media, as to what is possible with this diet. I mean, you can have eggs a dozen different ways, and they all taste different. Variety is there if you just look for it and don't be afraid, and just stick to the basics. Like I stick to listening to my body. What am I craving? And where can I get creative in what I'm making while still following the rules so I achieve my goals? So that's kind of my menu is if, as my mom says, if it has a face or it has a mama, you can eat it. So that's what I'm doing.
Nice. And so are you eating in an intuitive way, or are you kind of saying, I'm only eating lunch, or I'm only eating dinner, or something like that?
I am only eating when my body tells me it's hungry. I mean, there's times where I wake up in the morning. I'll wake up at say this past Sunday. I woke up at 8 a.m., drank some water, did some things around the house, and took down the Christmas tree. And 1 o'clock. I realized I hadn't eaten anything because I just wasn't hungry from the night before. So I forced myself to go eat. I I went grabbed my bag of bacon out of the fridge and ate 3 or 4 slices just so I would have something in my stomach so I wouldn't crash at some point in the day. But really, yeah, I eat when I'm hungry. I stop eating when I'm full so I don't overeat. I'm not focused on cleaning the plate. I love having leftovers because I can go grab them later and have another snack. So there's no real rhyme or reason to when I eat or any type of rhythm to that. It's just what my body tells me to do is what I do when I want when it needs it.
So, being so new into this, um, is that a big change for you for the way you're eating? Like before, would it have been like you wake up and you're feeling like, oh, I need to eat breakfast soon, that kind of thing, and it's just a series of kind of meals throughout the day, or how were you eating before?
Yeah, previously it was my daily routine for work on a Monday through Friday was wake up in the morning, do my daily, take a shower, brush my teeth, whatever, get dressed, and then I'd go downstairs. I'd pop a bagel in the oven, in the toaster oven, take out the cream cheese. I'd grab a Monster Energy drink out of the fridge, put it in my little koozie, and then I'd make a little fruit salad with bananas and strawberries and raspberries and blueberries, and I'd put that all in a little bento box that I have, and that all fits in my lunchbox, and I'd zip it up with a fork and a knife and a napkin and fill up my water bottle and hi ho, it's off to work I go. And then work's not very far. I'm blessed enough that I'm close enough I can drive home for lunch. So I'd come home for lunch. I'd make a sandwich with turkey and cheese and mustard and mayo on some nice homemade bread because I love to bake and have that for lunch. Go back to work. And then for dinner, it's what my wife would make. It was a big bowl of her homemade Italian sauce and meatballs with pasta or meatloaf or General So's chicken or whatever she had chalked up. But yeah, it was a battle rhythm of 3 meals a day. And then always had a terrible habit of having to have a snack before I go to bed, which I think that was the most detrimental to my acid reflux and to my weight gain. Because if, eating, a dozen crackers with some cheese or something and a glass of wine before bed or even without the wine was not contributing well to my health. And that was just kind of my routine every single day. So it was a big change switching from doing that to just doing what I said before about listening to my body and only eating when I'm hungry. And I don't feel like it's taken away. I mean, from my family or anything, I still sit at the table when they're eating their meals. I have 3 young daughters and my wife, so we still get the family time. I'm just may not be eating at dinner time, and it works for us.
And so, what kind of feedback have you had from the family? Are they on board? You're doing this is good for you. Keep going.
Oh yeah, they're super supportive. I'm incredibly blessed. They may not be willing to participate. They love their carbs, so that's good on them. They'll, like I said, they're young. My wife, she will see. It's one of my goals to maybe get her to try this for a month. So maybe when she sees my results, she might be inclined to do it. But they are totally supportive. My wife is blows me away. I told her today. I said, "Hey, next time you go to the store, no rush. If you wouldn't mind, can you just get me like a thing of heavy cream and some pork rinds, some chicharron? So it's a little snack, carnivore friendly snack." And by next time, I was expecting next week. She just walked through the door before we started this with a grocery bag with the stuff I asked for. She is a queen in my book, and she is the most supportive and encouraging person that I could have in my life in continuing this and encouraging me and enabling me to eat this way. And really, she's the one that got me over my biggest fear. My biggest fear from this whole thing was not losing the flavor of a strawberry or banana or whatever. It was that I couldn't afford it. I thought that the carnivore diet was going to be prohibitively expensive, that it was going to look at the price of steak, look at the price of eggs, look at the price of milk, look at all this. How am I going to afford this and still shop for my family? It's like a whole different grocery bill just for me. But when we sat down and looked at it that very first day when we went to the grocery store and we were walking around, it was like, well, hey, guess what? You never have to buy me this. You don't have to buy me this crutch or this staple or this thing that I was eating or these crackers or those fruits or all that stuff that I was consuming before is no longer a factor. So it makes buying the meat so much easier, especially since we know that every bite of that meat is good for my health, and it's gonna put extend my minutes on this planet, and it really becomes an easy investment once you just go look at the numbers and realize what you're replacing in your life.
So your results, I think, are very encouraging for other people who might be watching this and might be thinking, "Well, I need to do something." This is very positive. You're less than 10 days in, and you've had good results already. You're feeling good. At this stage, are you feeling like carnivore is the way to go permanently into the future?
Oh yeah, I don't see any reason why I'll stop. I think even when I achieve my goal is to reach 200 pounds, which is perfect for my height, according to the standards that I've been reading and the research I've been doing and discussions with my doctor. Yeah, I think once I hit 200, it'll be stick with carnivore. I'm not closing all the doors though. I have been watching some creators and reading some articles and that encourage you to reintroduce some things in small amounts once you achieve your goal and just see how they affect you. It's all about moderation. One article that I read said was about an actual medical doctor that went on the carnivore diet after spending years of putting his patients on medicines and this and that, and he finally wanted to give it a try for himself, and it worked. And he said, "You know what? I had a piece of toast the other day, but I recognized that it was a treat. You're not barring yourself from treating yourself, but treats can't be your diet. Treats are things that you kind of reward yourself with or associate with a good time or with a special occasion, and that's okay. So maybe in a year, if I'm down to my 200 pounds and I'm maintaining and I'm feeling great, and my family wants to go out to the Waffle House for breakfast, I might have a bite of a pancake or something. It's not out of the question. I might add avocados. I might have a tiny fruit bowl once, or every once in a while. But I think the main stick to is going to be carnivore from here on out, and I really hope that I can keep that going. And I don't see any reason why I'd be derailed at this point.
Nice. So, if someone's thinking about getting started, what kind of advice would you give to them?
The advice I would give them is don't go too hard into it and don't overcomplicate it. If you haven't been going to the gym for the last several years and you haven't been in any lifestyle other than just eating what's on your plate for the last several years, then don't start your diet by promising to do 500 push-ups and 200 jumping jacks and 100 squats on top of your diet and trying to meet all that, and just ease into it. Take your time and listen to your body. That is my biggest My biggest piece of advice is just listen to your body. If you're doing the 500 push-ups and your body says that's too much, then maybe don't do them right away. Doesn't mean it's not in your future, but you don't want to burn yourself out of something that can have such a positive impact. So go slow, take it easy, listen to your body, and as my motto is, it's stay hydrated. Always stay hydrated. Your body can't do anything without water. So it doesn't matter how much meat you eat. If you don't have water, you're not going to digest anything. You're just going to be dehydrated and miserable. So ease into it, listen to your body, take your time, and stay hydrated.
Nice. So, Tyler, how can people reach out to you? You mentioned you've got social media.
Yeah, so I've been documenting this whole thing on TikTok. My handle on TikTok is Creepy Kirk, CreepyKirk. And I am my comments are open. I'm happy to respond to people. If somebody wants to reach out to me, they drop me a follow and let me know. I'll follow them back and we'll have a conversation. I'm no doctor, but I'm all about sharing my experiences. My mom tried to share her experiences with me for 4 years and it fell on deaf ears. So I am more than happy to pay it forward what she's been trying to get through my skull to anybody that'll listen. So right there on that's my TikTok. That's where I'm putting everything. And I'm making a daily vlog of kind of what's on my mind with the carnivore diet, and I'm trying to keep some variety and explain how it's a lifestyle for me more than it's a diet, and how I can improve a lot of other things in my life given all this extra energy and clarity that I'm feeling even after just 9 days of doing this.
No worries. So, I'll link to your TikTok in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on, Tyler, and sharing your experience. Really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everything you're doing for the carnivore diet too. I hope anybody that watches your show on YouTube is inspired and learns something, and maybe becomes a little bit better because of it. It's really powerful, and I appreciate it.